Hello senior one, how are you all? Today I'll talk about linear motion. First, what's meant by motion? Motion is something that related to changing the position from one point to point. Types of motion. We have two types of motion, transitional motion and periodic motion. Transitional motion is motion that having starting point and ending point, like the train motion, cars motion. Periodic motion is motion that repeated itself in equal interval of time, like wave motion, cyclic motion, oscillatory motion, and so on. Now we will study some concepts which is related to the motion in a straight line, such as velocity and acceleration. First, what the difference between velocity and speed? As you know from Model 2, velocity is a vector quantity that needs magnitude and direction. Speed is a scalar quantity that only needs magnitude only. Okay, velocity is the rate of a change of position and also the direction of an object's movement. Speed is the rate of a change of an object's movement and it's a scalar quantity. We have two types of velocity, uniform velocity and non-uniform velocity. Uniform velocity, when an object covers equal distance in equal interval of time, it's said to be an uniform motion. Non-uniform, when an object covers an equal distance in equal intervals of time in a specific direction, or if the direction of motion changes. When I put a gap between velocity and time with uniform velocity, as time increases, the velocity is still constant and its slope equal 0. The uniform motion and non-uniform motion. The uniform motion equal distance in equal interval of time. For example, when a car moves from the rest position to 2 meter distance, so the distance is the difference between them, 2 minus 1, and it takes time from 0 to 2 seconds. So the difference between the time equal 2. So the distance that covers equal 2 and the time is equal to. Then the car moves from the distance 2 to the distance 4. So the difference between them is equal to meter. And it moves from time 2 seconds to 4 seconds. So the difference between the time is also 2, and so on. The equal distance in equal interval of time. So it's called uniform motion or uniform velocity. But when a car moves from the rest position to 2 meter, the difference between them 2 meter, and the time 0 to 2 seconds, it's called 2 seconds. But the car then moves from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. The difference in time is equal to, but the car it moves 5 meters. So the distance is equal 5. Then the car moves 3 meters. So the difference 3 meters. Then 4. So the non-uniform unequal distance in equal interval of time. Some important notes: the average velocity and average speed. Average velocity, the total displacement over time or over total time. The average speed, total distance over total time. What the difference between displacement and the distance? Displacement is a vector quantity that needs direction. Distance, the total distance that the body takes from the in the past. For example, a car travels along a straight route to the east for 100 meters in 4 seconds, then go to west for 50 meters in 1 second. Determine the average speed and average velocity. Distance is the total distance. He moves. It moves from east 100 meters then 2 ways for 50 meters. So the total distance is equal 150 meters. But the displacement equal the difference between the starting point and ending point. It moves from the east for 100 meters, then returns to west for 50 meters. The difference between them is called the displacement. So the displacement is equal 50 meters and its direction to east. The time is equal the all time 1 second plus 4 seconds, so the total time is equal 5 seconds. So the average speed equal distance over time, 150 over 5 seconds is equal 30 meters per second, and the average velocity displacement over time, so it's equal 50 meters over 5 seconds, so it's equal 10 meters per second. A man walks 7 kilometers in 2 hours and 2 kilometers in 1 hour in the same direction. What the man's average speed for the whole journey and what the man's average velocity for the whole journey? When the speed equal the velocity, when the man is moves in a straight line, in this case the total distance equal the total displacement. And he said a man walks 7 kilometers and 2 kilometers in the same direction. So the total distance equal the total displacement. In this case, the average speed equal the average velocity. So the total distance or the total displacement equal 9 and the total time is equal 3. So the average speed and velocity equal 3 kilometers per hour.